Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today I'm going to present about the strategy of teaching listening by using podcast. GLEET, Journal of Language Education and Education Technology. Volume 4, Number 1, 2019. The researchers are Alfian, Asrun Leo, and Laude Sidumarafat. The title of this journal is The Use of Audio Podcasts for Teaching Listening Comprehension. The background of this study. Listening plays very important role in communication, and it has great importance in foreign English classroom. Listening should be taught by using an appropriate method and media, because the main function of listening in second language learning is to facilitate understanding of spoken discourse. Moreover, listening is not passive skill, so it must be done and practiced every time by students. The teacher still use conventional tool in teaching listening. The teacher use textbook, which is not completed by audio file, and the teacher teach listening orally. It makes students cannot learn from the authentic material. Students are not interested to learn listening. Teacher teach orally the material, which makes student doesn't want to record and bring it to be repeated at home. That's why teacher needs listening portable tool that can be used easily everywhere and every time. And the tool is podcast. Method. The method that is used in this study is qualitative and quantitative data. The design is quasi-experimental design and using pre-test and post-test for experimental group and control group without random subject. The research will see the students' score in control group that using traditional intervention and the experimental group that using podcasts. The instruments are test and interview. Pre-test and post-test were in the form of listening, which the student received listening input from the teacher. The test is conducted to find significant effect of using podcasts on students' ability in listening with score. The interview is conducted to know about student motivation in listening using podcast. First, pre-test will be given at the first meeting for both groups. And the second, researcher will give treatment using podcast in experimental group and conventional treatment in control group. The treatment will be done at least 4 times. And then the researcher will give post-test to both groups. And then the researcher conduct interview. The procedure. The procedure in teaching listening using audio podcast. The researcher used STAD technique, and the step can be done as follows. First, the teacher divides the students in a small group, and each group consists of at least 3 or 4 students. Second, the teacher asks the student what they know about offering help and give example. Third, the teacher played audio podcast and asked the student to identify about offering help, and the teacher let the student discuss what they listen to. Next, the teacher gives fill-in-the-blank quiz that related to the previous material. The teacher played audio podcast about the dialogue and the students fill in the missing sentences. Then the teacher evaluates the quizzes and gives score for the students. And the last, The teacher gives prize for the best group. The prize is depending on the teacher. Sometimes teacher gives student applause for stimulating their motivation. The result of this research show that there was significant effect in using audio podcasts in students' ability. And most students have an intrinsic motivation in learning English, especially using podcasts. Audio podcasts as a new method with good technique could motivate students to improve the ability in listening. By condition, the materials are repeated multiple times in home. Conclusion. The conclusion of this research, based on the result of data analysis, the researcher states that between control group and experimental group, using audio podcasts is more effective than using conventional tool on students' ability in listening. And using audio podcasts could give good effect on students' motivation in listening. And most of students are interested in using audio podcasts because it was something new, and all materials can be repeated at home. Alright, that's all for me. Thanks for your nice attention, and please forgive me if I make a mistake. Let me know if you have any question. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.